All right. You guys ready?
I was going to say, at least it's still here.
All right. Speaking of here, let's wrap up our pre-tournament press conferences at the Pelican Women's Championship with our leadership team at the 2023 Solheim Cup. Stacy Lewis, two of her assistant captains, Morgan Pressel and Angela Stanford. Stacy, I'll kick it off with you. We started off the season announcing your captaincy back at the Tournament of the Champions. Now we're one event away from the end of the season. You've had a full year to look at this team, see how things are going. What's your state of mind now in this captaincy role?
The year's gone by really fast. It's crazy to think that it was the beginning of this year. I mean, we've been super busy doing everything. It's been awesome watching these girls play, especially some of the younger girls, and getting to play with them and see their style. And we've done a couple of dinners throughout the year, and just keeping them informed on everything we're working on. And the girls seem excited about it. They've been very responsive and very helpful. So yeah, it's exciting. We're inside of a year to the actual Solheim Cup. So, kind of starts putting a little bit of pressure on you, but I got a few months of some downtime now to really dive into a few things.
Who are some of the young players that have caught your eye? I know you've been talking a lot to the rookies and the players who are in this for the first time. Certainly, I think Lilia and Andrea, some of these younger players who have really caught your eye over the past couple months.
Yeah, definitely Lilia and Andrea. I think they've kind of caught everybody's eyes. I mean, they've jumped up that points list really fast. And just getting to play with them. I mean, Lilia was very impressive at the 63 she shot final round in Dallas was really impressive. And Andrea, of course, Andrea winning was also great to see. I think that we've kind of talked as a group of celebrating the American wins this year, and we've had quite a few. So we're going to get together again next week and celebrate those wins again.
Morgan, you've been by Stacy's side almost since the beginning. Now you're a year in. We've got a lot of things underway. What are you learning about this assistant captaincy role that's really helping you as you try to help get the team to victory next year?
Well, Stacy's got just about everything under control. She hasn't needed a whole lot of help, but we've worked hard, especially on the wardrobe, which we've pretty much finalized this year, so we don't have to worry about that going forward. And then, it's been fun to see behind the scenes, working through everything related to budget, to travel, to gifting, to all the little things that as a player I've experienced from a different perspective, and now seeing all the thought that goes in behind it. And there's just so much work that the captain does, and Stacy especially, to really make it special for the team, and things like having dinners with different rookies, players who are potential rookies for the team, and telling them about how busy the week is and what they can expect. So a lot of things like that I'm learning and taking notes.
That's what it's for.
Same question over to you, Angela. You're the newest of the assistant captains. Natalie, unfortunately, couldn't be with us this week. I know she's helping out as well. But when you came in, Angela, with an eye to the stats, an eye to helping out, as having been an assistant captain before, what are you bringing to this team, and how are you figuring your space among the quartet here?
Well, again, I think Stacy's done a really good job at kind of letting us know exactly what she wants from us, and sometimes that's what you need. That way you're not wasting your time looking at things that maybe somebody else has been looking at. So I think Stacy's been very good at, delegating those things, and I'm diving into the numbers already, and I love it. I love that numbers will tell you a story, and it's a good way to evaluate people. I understand there's still, they got to get out there and play, but I love that aspect of it, and I hope I can help in that sense. And these younger kids, they're just so precious. They're just love these younger ones. They're great.
You're taking them under your wing. We love it. They're learning from three good ones. Before we open it up, we've got a question here from Jeff. I am going to ask Tommy Tang Tapabuntana, our Senior VP of Tour Ops, to step in. We just made an announcement that for the 2024 Solheim Cup, announced our official dates of September 10 through 15. But also, Tommy, I know you worked pretty closely with Stacy on a question she'd had for 23, but we're going to change this point structure for 24, taking the team building out to the top 40 point structures and points placement, What's the reasoning behind that, and what do you think this is going to bring to the 24 team and beyond?
Yeah, great question. As you mentioned, Stacy brought this up to our team and wanting to look at this, the point structure and how the U.S. team qualifies. And currently the structure only allows points for top 20. And we felt with how deep the fields are now, it wasn't really a full comprehensive look of how the talent that's coming through. And so what we did was looking at the 2024 point structure, considering 23 was already locked in, had already been announced, we were already midway through, that we couldn't really change anything, that we wanted to set up the 24 team with this new structure. So what we did is we took the current point scenario when we were doing this research and ran a bunch of different point structures that existed within the LPGA space using a CME structure, the Rookie of the Year structure, the current Solheim Cup structure, and just built out a bunch of scenarios. And then Stacy and I just basically looked at all the different scenarios, compared them to what the players were in the Rolex rankings, and essentially
How they were playing.
and essentially gave us to the one that you see today is the one that we'll put in place starting with Hilton Grand Vacations in 2023.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tommy. Stacy, I know, as we said, this was something that you'd maybe wanted for 23. Didn't quite work out
Yes.
since we were already through, but I think this is a good legacy that's perhaps going to help captains down the road.
Yeah, I honestly, I was hoping we could maybe retroactively go back and change it, but Tommy didn't let me do that, which I understand. But yeah, I mean, I just felt like as a player, you finished 21st, and that's a pretty darn good week now. And we're basically saying that's the equivalency of missing a cut. And, I think it'll help players just kind of in their psyche and just the way they're playing to be a little bit more encouraged by it. I think it'll help the captains especially. Probably doesn't change those top 5. It's not going to change that very much, but it's going to change that 5 through 15 even, and it's going to help us as captains, make picks down the road, or them as captains, I guess, make picks down the road. And then, and it'll justify it more to the players. So there's not so much debate, I think, once captains' picks come around.
Great. You got to start somewhere, and thanks for helping us with that update. We'll start over here with Jeff.
I want to ask a question for all three of you. The number 1 and 2 players currently in the standings are Lexi and Danielle. What are your thoughts on their talents and what they can bring to a setting like this?
Their talents speaks for themselves. I mean, Lexi's one of the best ball strikers on this tour. And then I think they both, and Danielle too. Danielle's a great ball striker, but they're going to bring the experience to Solheim Cup. They've been around the block. They've been there. We're going to rely on Lexi, and there's really only a couple that have actually won a Solheim Cup and been on a winning team. And so that was part of bringing these girls on was, bringing people in. Even Natalie was on 2 winning teams herself, and so bringing that experience in for those that have. We've got a ton of players that haven't won a Solheim Cup, so we're going to rely on them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think their talent level obviously kind of speaks for itself with their results and things like that. But I think it's the passion that they bring. They both are very passionate about wearing red, white, and blue, about being on past Solheim Cup teams. I don't know if there's any 2 players with bigger hearts in terms of, really wanting to get the job done on Sunday afternoon. And those are the players that you want in your corner.
Well, and I think they're very different also. I think Lexi is very much, she's kind of quiet about it. But when she does say something, you listen. But when she goes out there, she does it by action. But I think Danielle is more, hey, we're kind of in your face. This is what we're going to do. And I think that helps to have 2 of those on a team instead of the same personality. And I think they're just very dominant players. And that's what you need in a Solheim Cup setting.
The U.S. Ryder Cup team will go out this fall. They haven't won on foreign soil in 30 years. The Solheim Cup has won some on foreign soil. What is the biggest challenge of a road cup?
I think it's mainly the crowd, to be honest. I think keeping the momentum on your side. I mean, I know Ange loves overseas Solheim Cups just because the team environment's a little bit more intimate. I think they're more fun. They're a little bit smaller, not so many people around. But it's definitely, you're a little bit out of your comfort zone food-wise and things like that. But it's more the crowds. And Spain's going to be no different. I mean, it's going to be loud. Fans will be a little bit limited by the size of the golf course, which will probably help us out a little bit. So it'll be a challenge, but at the same time, our girls don't have anything to lose. I mean, I think Europe's got the pressure on them. They've won the last couple. We're going to their home soil. They've beaten us. I'd like the pressure to switch to them and let our girls go free will it a little bit.
As you look to get a team to bond, is it maybe easier to do that when you're in a foreign environment like that?
I do. I think, especially this environment, we're going to be in the hotel. We're staying on property, and it's just going to be the players and caddies. It's going to be really small kind of team that's on site. It's going to be very intimate. And I think our biggest task, if we can get these girls to care about each other and cheer each other on and want that other person to be more successful than themselves, that's kind of my big goal in this whole thing, is to make sure that whoever has that winning putt, that everybody's there to celebrate with them.
Angela, I'm going to go to you for a second and change gears a little bit. You're here with multiple caps on this week. You're going to be making your debut as an on-course analyst with Golf Channel, learning maybe another captain on the other side, captain in training with Morgan. What came about to this decision, and what are you looking forward to this week?
I think it's been a couple years in the making. I think I wasn't quite ready to maybe go a different route yet. And this year has been a very challenging, different year in my life. And it just seems like it's time to maybe stop playing professional golf. I want to play the majors next year, and then that's probably it. But I'm totally at peace with that decision. And the little bit of TV that I did in Toledo, I liked a lot more than I thought I would. I think it's something that you have to do, and I think you find my personality, I know one way, pretty quickly. Morgan's been great. She actually talked to her in Evian this year and just kind of wanted to pick her brain and just find out, I had some questions and what is it like being a player going to TV? And so Morgan's been great, and, everybody has, but Karen and Kay, the players that are on that side, they, I think they get it on a little bit different level.
Morgan, you're basically a year into the transition now of full-time in the seat next to Grant and Terry in the booth. What's that transition like been for you, and what are your tips for Angela? And we're getting more and more players active in telecast. What are your tips for sharing these stories and getting word out about the LPGA?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, that's kind of how I see my role, essentially, as a storyteller, trying to share the tremendous stories that we do have out here on a daily basis to the viewers at home, and really let them into kind of the world that we know so well and almost take for granted in a sense, but share that with the rest of the world. And I mean, tips for Angela, I don't think she needs any. She's going to be fantastic. You know what? It's going to be nerve-wracking. I still get nervous at the beginning of every telecast, and it's something new, but I think she's going to just jump in quickly and really adapt well, even from what we saw in Toledo. And behind the scenes, what people don't know is Angela's been sitting in the truck a good bit. She's been listening to us. She's been having the headset on, really trying to do a lot of prep, which I actually never did. So I think that will, I didn't have that opportunity, so I think that'll be really good for you.
Do you think this maybe somehow helps with some of this Solheim Cup planning? I mean, you're going to be out seeing stuff a lot closer than you were when you're competing, I think.
Well, I'm grateful for the opportunity for that reason, too, to be able to watch these girls from a different perspective. And when you play with them, like Stacy said, I think that's best case scenario, to get to play with them because you see them up close. But to take a step back and then watch every little move, because when you're playing beside them, you're not always watching their body language. You're not always looking at diving into their numbers. So I'm grateful for this opportunity with the Golf Channel, just to see things in a different perspective.
Morgan, what's one challenging thing about television you might not have known a year ago?
There's a lot. I don't even know if there's one. I mean, I think on Angela's point of being able to watch players from a different perspective, I mean, I watched players a little bit when I was competing against them, but I didn't watch them in depth. I wasn't calling their coaches and trying to find out, what new clubs they have in the bag or something that they're working on or something that might be, interesting to our viewers at home. So I think it's a lot of that kind of communication that goes on behind the scenes that maybe people at home don't realize, that all the prep work. I mean, the idea is you're usually just way over prepared and you use about 20% of the information that you've curated prior to a show, but you need to have that, and that's a lot of work behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see.
So we've got two TV people here, and then we do have one in the middle. The captain's still competing and
Still playing.
and it's a big week on multiple levels
It
for
is,
you.
yes.
Currently in the CME field, hoping to keep it that way. How's the game feeling as you head into the week? It's been a couple weeks off. You didn't play any in Asia.
Yeah, I needed a break. The ball striking's been not very good the last couple of months, and so I needed some time to work on it, and it's really feeling a lot better. So I got a little bit of help on the points list from a couple girls not playing, so that was kind of a little bit of a cushion. But yeah, I want to be there next week. I'm going to be there regardless, working on this stuff. But I really want to play next week, and I like the way things are going.
Any further questions? Anybody on the Zoom? Anything else our captains want to say? Well, thank you for a great year. We're really excited for next year and see what we can bring together for Fink at Coeur d'Alene. Thanks so much.
Sounds great.